This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here. Now, in this hypnosis session, it's all about calming bladder sensations. Now, this might be a desire to pee if you don't really need to pee, or a feeling of discomfort. But if you have any of these recurring thoughts and sensations, they can be quite intrusive, and sometimes they don't go away. It's almost like if you have an itch, and no matter how many times you scratch it, the itch is still there. But just imagine that in your bladder. That would take a lot of your thinking time and be quite frustrating, quite annoying. And the client I was working with had that, and they had it all checked out. They'd seen neurologists, and they'd had lots of tests. There was nothing actually wrong with their bladder, but their mind would keep taking them to that place. And therefore, this hypnosis session deals with 2 key things. One, easing the sensations in the bladder, almost treating it like a fire alarm that is now going off when there is no actual fire. It's just a false alarm. And then secondly, dealing with the root cause of health anxieties, because sometimes people get themselves in loops where they think, what if something's wrong? What if I'm sick? What if I need to go to the toilet? And it just kind of plays like this kind of loop. So it's designed to help with those things. Now, if you do have a bladder sensation, this session is going to be more useful. But if you have any health anxieties, the structural root cause, the metaphors in this still may be useful. And if you like the idea of a bespoke session for you and your individual circumstances, there will be a link in the description or on my website, adamcox.co.uk, where you can book a completely free consultation call. We'll have a chat over Zoom, and who knows, we might start working together directly rather than just listening to my recordings. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be distracted or disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, give permission to release any thoughts, any worries, echoes of tension. Just allow it to release, and feel it release in that outward breath. Breathing in a feeling of relaxation and releasing any tension. Just allow the outward breath to carry on for longer than it normally would, until your lungs are completely empty. Then, as you breathe in, feel like you're breathing in from your belly, not your chest. That's it. Feel like you're breathing in fully, and And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you feel. And the more relaxed you feel, the deeper you breathe. As your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. Eyelids getting heavier, jaw getting loose. Just feel a sense of tension melting away from your body. And I want you to think back to a memory. Perhaps 7 or 8 years ago, on a visit to New York. And I want you to imagine observing a version of you in your memory walking around the lake in Central Park. And I don't know if you're observing yourself from the perspective of a stranger who just happened to be there, or if it feels like you're a floating TV camera following you around and just observing. I'm just wondering what you notice about that version of you. I want you to get a sense that that version of you had a different connection and observation of their bladder. That version of you were thinking less and focusing less on just a particular part of your body. And I wonder if you can feel a sense of connection with that version of you. A version of you that had more of that perception of normality. That there were absolutely sensations in your bladder, but they were low level sensations. If you needed to go to the toilet, you did. And if a sensation came up, it was brief before becoming background noise. And I want you to imagine perhaps seeing you, perhaps on a bridge or a path nearby the lake. And I want you to imagine pausing time, almost like everyone in Central Park is paused except you. And just imagine floating into that version of you. Feel what it would feel like to have that very low or no sensation in your bladder. Instead, focus on the ripples in the water of the lake, perhaps the trees surrounding the lake, maybe the skyline of skyscrapers there off into the distance. And just connect with that feeling. A feeling of being comfortable and relaxed in your own body. And I want you to imagine while everyone else there is paused, frozen in time, you can use this time to just relax, reflect, and connect. And perhaps you could imagine doing something that you get to do in this moment. Maybe you could feel like a child and climb a tree. Or perhaps you could imagine finding the small boat and just going out there in the middle of that lake. Or perhaps finding a bench and just sitting and connecting with yourself. That's it. Because in this moment, in your imagination, there's nothing you need to do and nothing you should be doing either. Nothing needs fixing and nothing needs watching. Just allow your nervous system to come down a notch. And there in Central Park, find that deep natural rhythm. And imagine your awareness gently widening, as if your attention no longer needs to zoom in on one area. As you start to believe that sensations are simply messages, and not all messages are urgent. And you can recall a time when there was a fire alarm with no fire, a smoke alarm with no smoke, perhaps even an alarm clock set to the wrong time. As you accept an irrefutable truth that not all alarms are accurate or useful. Some alarms were installed for past conditions and simply haven't been updated yet. And you know that's true, because there would have been a time where you set an alarm to wake you up, and it did on one day, but the alarm continued on a day when you didn't need waking up at that time. And what if certain sensations that you've been feeling were a protective alarm to make sure that you get things checked out, to make sure that you're safe? What could have been useful for one moment in time then becomes annoying, frustrating, or just irrelevant at a different point in time. Take your awareness and look for a part within you, because I think somewhere inside you is a protective part, like a system designed to keep you safe. And maybe this part learned something important, connected to someone important to you. Perhaps there was someone that, because of a medical issue, it did affect their bladder, maybe an enlarged prostate. And that would make sense, that that protective part knows that those early warning signals can mean that something gets checked out that, if left unresolved, could lead to a bigger problem. And I want you to thank that part, because that kind of vigilance once made sense. Communicate with it directly. Tell it, thank you for trying to protect me. And that part isn't broken. It's simply running an old pattern that could have been useful once, but is no longer useful now. Just like that smoke alarm that goes off when toast is burned, not when there's a fire in the house. Loud, convincing, but not dangerous. Well-intentioned, but unnecessary. And if there's a protective part trying to keep you safe, there is a part also within that knows now, knows that you've already checked for any problems. You now know it's not helping. In fact, it's contributing to more stress and more worries and more thinking. I want you to get a sense of that alarm you set that was useful once, but if it kept going off at that same time every day for 3 years, you might wonder if that alarm is ever going to turn off. There is a wise part within you that knows that you have been checked. You've ruled out serious causes or problems. And that part knows that these sensations fluctuate. It's not constant. And if it can change, then it means it's not permanent. That wise part knows that there's been times where it's felt unnoticeable, a 0 or 1 on that scale of 1 to 10. And this wiser part can communicate directly with your alarm system, directly telling it, thank you. But you don't need to work this hard anymore. And what if the alarm doesn't need to be switched off? Just turned down to a very low volume. Because that alarm that goes off at a level 10 is annoying, frustrating. But if the volume was a level 1, it just becomes insignificant background noise. So start to imagine that sensation has a volume dial, not an on-off switch, and that can feel true to you. There's been moments that it felt like a 9 or a 10, and other days like a 1 or a 2, like a dimmer switch, rather than just an on or an off switch. So whether you think about it as a volume dial or a dimmer switch, notice something that could be useful. That when you try to force the dial down, it often makes it stick or jump back to the previous setting. But what if curiosity, allowing, and gentle distance turns that dial down naturally? Some people call it the law of reverse effect. The harder you try, the more elusive it becomes. But when you don't try at all, it turns down all by itself. So instead of fighting the sensation, trying to analyze it, control it, you allow it to be there. You give it permission. And as you give it permission and acceptance, What if you notice that the volume or the dimmer switch naturally, all by itself, intuitively, dials down incrementally, one small notch at a time? That an 8 can go to a 7 can go to a 6 can go to a 5, and a 5 can go to a 4, and a 4 can go to a 3 or a 2 or a 1, until it's hardly noticeable. Just like an itch somewhere on your body that you don't notice. Not because you controlled it, but because you stopped wrestling with it. Allow your unconscious to learn a concept, a technique, that if it returns to anything above a 6 or a 7, name it neutrally. It's not a problem, just a sensation. Then you can breathe into the space around it, there, around your diaphragm, not into the bladder, but around it. You acknowledge it, but don't aim to control it. And then just imagine that dimmer switch or that volume switch going down by 10 or 20%. Because here's the interesting thing. If you accept it, relax around it, and imagine it dialing down 10%, then if you repeat that 10 times, even the strongest sensation becomes negligible. There's something reassuring about knowing that if the sensation can move from an 8 to a 7, it can also move from a 7 to a 5, and then from a 5 to a 3, a 2, or a 1. And you already know that this is possible, because your body has done it before. But when your body did it before, notice how it didn't need you to do anything at all. Your body knows how to lower that intensity all by itself. Some people have seen one of those Chinese toys. They call them a finger trap. You put your finger in, and if you try and force your finger out, it gets stuck. That the harder you pull to escape, the tighter it grips. And the moment you soften, relax, the trap loosens. Or think of the monkey trap. They put nuts or food there in a glass bottle or jar. If the monkey goes in, grips the food, the fist shape means they can't escape from the bottle or the jar. And sometimes all the monkey needs to do is to let go, and it's free. But instead it holds on. It keeps being attached to something, and that keeps it trapped. And what if your bladder sensations work the same way? What if attention and checking and analyzing What if all of these keep you attached, while acceptance, allowing, and trusting allows you to release? And whether you imagine releasing from the finger trap or letting go of what's inside the bottle to be free of it, imagine your bladder doing the same. What if your body responds best to acknowledgement and acceptance rather than fixing? Allow an idea to take root deep in your mind. Your body is not your enemy. It isn't failing you. It's not punishing you. It's learning. And what if each time you respond with a curious calm, acknowledgement and acceptance instead of control? What if the system slowly but surely starts to recalibrate? The alarm learns that you are safe. The signal fades faster, and the baseline returns to normal. I want you to imagine you're still there in Central Park, but you are now there in your future, more than a year in your future, a year of your body letting go of unuseful attachments, a year of what ifs evolving from negative outcomes to positive outcomes, more than a year of those dimmer switches and volume switches dialing down the intensity. I want you to imagine that you're still there in Central Park, but now in the future. And I want you to imagine a future where it feels like you've had either low level or no level sensations in your bladder for more than a year. You have regained trust, a feeling of comfort. And I want you to imagine that in the past and in the future, this is no longer an issue. You notice something has changed. The sensations either rarely appear at all, or if they appear, it's briefly, quietly, and then just moves on like an itch you notice that fades into background. Your mind no longer needs to race, analyze, catastrophize. No checking, no vigilance, no analyzing. Feel what it would feel like to trust your body again. Bladder sensations return to the background, where they belong. The exception only being a very full bladder as a gentle nudge for you to take a bathroom break. And I want you to imagine that future continues into day-to-day life. Imagine returning from New York into a regular pattern routine, and that normality returns with you. And you can move through your day with ease, comfort, and confidence. And your body remembers how to feel normal. In fact, imagine being in a room you know well, perhaps lying down in a relaxed way, wondering, what if things get better and better? And as you hold that thought, it's time to return. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10, 2 will waken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.